welcome you once again to Crush Your Mountain Wellness. I am so thrilled to have with me an amazing young woman. And I know that I perhaps say amazing young woman all the time, but every time I have one on, they are amazing. And this young lady is no different. This is Anita McDaniel. She's known professionally as the Unmute Queen. She operates as a life strategist under a Voice of Healing LLC. She holds certification as a life healing and deliverance coach and possesses a Bachelor of Arts degree in complementary and alternative health. She specializes in aiding individuals who have experienced muting or shyness due to factors such as narcissistic relationships, trauma, familial backgrounds, or societal marginalization. I'm going to try to say that one more time. Marginalization. With a personal journey from shyness to empowerment, Anita focuses on assisting women in reclaiming their voices and their life trajectories. Her expertise often involves facilitating healing and deliverance processes to unlock personal growth and direction. She caters to clients seeking various outcomes, including emotional healing, weight management, lifestyle changes, stress reduction, and spiritual alignment. Now, beyond all of that, as if that in itself was just not enough, Anita extends her influences as a published author, speaker, and motivator. Through a Voice of Healing, she addresses issues ranging from social inhibition to unhealthy eating habits, often offering resources and guidance towards holistic wellness. Her book, Mentally Fit and Free Emotional Eating Journal, aims to liberate individuals from emotional eating patterns, marking not only a literary endeavor, but a transformative movement. She is one rare gem of a person. I had the privilege of talking with her over a period of time, and her wit and energy is amazing. I think you're going to enjoy hanging out today with Anita McDaniel. Welcome to Crush Your Mountain Wellness.
Hello. Thank you for having me today.
Well, it's amazing to have you. It's amazing to have you. I love the fact that you are a global person. Anita McDaniel's global. So tell us about how global you are.
Well, my reach is to more on the African end. I few years ago met some people that was over in Africa, and we linked up, and I've been able to be a voice, especially to the women there in Africa. So the men too, but my focus is on I'm on the women. So just from that experience, it led me to realize how important it is for all women to have the necessary tools it is to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, and you know something, the understanding is that when it comes to this area of coaching, be it health coaching or life strategies, things like that, we all come from a place of personal experience.
Right.
And so I gather you yourself is motivated basically due to your own personal experiences. Could you talk to us a little bit about being muted? What does it mean to be muted, and the shyness that results from that?
Well, my shyness started at an early age. I was shy, I want to say my entire childhood, half of my adulthood. I was a shy person. I was afraid to speak up. I allowed people to talk for me, through me, around me, and I just didn't have a voice. Um, and it was just how I was. It wasn't anything. A lot of times when people are shy, it's something that happened in their childhood, but that wasn't my case. I was just a quiet little girl. And for me, it was a place of, I didn't feel like my voice was enough. I didn't feel like I had enough knowledge to speak to people. that because I'm from the country, sometimes that country swing come out and I don't get my words right and all of that. And it actually costs me because sometimes, I'm gonna say a word or two or three or 10 or 100 wrong. And because of that, it kept me quiet because I live in this place of I want it to be perfect. So wanting to be perfect kept me to a place where I just remained quiet, remained shy in the background. I was one of those that if everybody in the room had to speak, I would be the last one to speak. Or either I'm gonna get up and go to the restroom. So I didn't have to speak at all. So that was my journey of coming up as being shy.
I can fully relate, because, and the reason for that is because for a good while, I was, well, many of us in this space are introverts, and that's certainly the way I was, and to a great degree, I am still. It doesn't mean that I don't. That for me is I wasn't a shy person. I was one of the person that found that when there were quite a few people in the room, kind of just milling around or kind of hovering rather close, it was too much energy, and I just had to leave. It's like, look, I'm done. But that said, what prompted you to write about emotional eating? And indeed, how did you reach that point? Was that something also that comes from a personal experience?
Yes, that came from a personal experience. I was a person of over 300 pounds and I was emotional. And I didn't see it then as being emotional. I looked in a mirror, I saw a beautiful woman, and couldn't nobody tell me any different. I was like, well, I don't have high blood pressure, don't have diabetes, cholesterol is good. I'm healthy. And I'm like, and one day I had to actually wake up and like, sis, you're not healthy. You borderline about to kill yourself. Let's just be real. You're borderline about to overeat yourself to an early grave. Let me put it that way. And I had to change some things. I had to look in the mirror and be real with myself and what I saw in the mirror. And what I saw in the mirror was someone who was broken, who had been damaged throughout life, who had been who had been not treating herself like she loved herself. I'm going to say that. Because when I look at that, when I look at me then, I was like, did you really love yourself? And it had been a journey. I would go all the way down and I come back up and I'm still on the journey. I'm going back down again and it's been a journey, but I'm learning me. I'm learning what's good for me, my body, to love me, to appreciate me throughout the journey. It is not just about losing weight, it's loving me for who I am and feeling good about where I'm going. So that led me to do the emotional eating journal, because as an emotional eater, a lot of people, they don't realize they're an emotional eater. We eat out of habit, we eat out of routine, we eat because we're lonely, we're sad, any kind of feelings, happy, we eat. And that was part of my issue. I just ate because whether I'm happy, sad, it was there, I wanted to eat.
That's the thing. And the world at large kind of makes it easy to fall into that. When we think about it, every occasion focuses and centers around food. Every major holidays, it's food. Funerals, it's food. Weddings, it's food. So that's part of it. You see, just going out and gatherings, you're having a picnic. But what's also challenging nowadays is big food and big agriculture, they design the foods to actually be addictive.
Exactly.
And then they create the marketing to make young people think that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've been into any of the big retail stores lately, or the big discount stores lately, but and yes, every body is a beautiful body. Every person is a beautiful person. However, we've gotten into this thing, and it is actually a marketing ploy that has caught on to just love you for you. So now they have the models, and they have these models who are rather large, or dare I say corpulent, okay? And that's conveying the message that, hey, you can be a triple or quadruple size, okay, regardless of your health, irrespective of what it's doing to your body. You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
so tell us this. You reached a point where you realized something was wrong. And then you had to start to take steps. Could you tell us about the steps that you took yourself? And then at what point did you say, I can help somebody else with this?
My first step was realizing that something was wrong. And that was the main step, because a lot of us, we don't want, well, it's to realize that something is wrong and to realize that you have to actually put in the work to get to where you want to be. So I had to realize that. I was like, I got to a place, and I'm gonna tell the story of what made me change my mind. I was talking to a friend one day, and he was actually telling a fat joke. And when he told it, I cried. It wasn't that I cried for the woman, I cried because I could have been her. And I was like, this ain't good." And that day made me change my head, change my heart and my mind about who I saw myself as. And it made me change, because I'm like, you know what? That could have easily been me. I need to change who I am. I cried because, oh my God, he's talking about me. We don't see ourselves in some situation. People might say mean jokes, but sometimes those mean jokes gonna wake us up to like, nah, yeah, that hurt my feelings, but dude, you were talking about me. Let me get myself together. So that started my journey, and my church had a workout on a workout team, and this is when I was about over three. I don't know. I would never want to get on the scale because I didn't want to know how much I weighed. So they had an aerobics class, and I started going. I started going to the aerobics class. They had a challenge. I remember it was Memorial Day weekend. They had a challenge, and I aced that challenge. I lost the most weight, and I went from being the overweight to the one teaching the class. I
Wow.
started even at a heavier weight. I increased my flexibility. I was one of the most, I didn't have any flexibility at first, but I was one of the most flexible person in that class by the time I kept going. So I realized, you know what, Nita, if I can do it, anybody can do it. As long as you put your heart and mind into it and know that you want to change it, don't give up. I don't care how long that path takes. Just know that it's worth it. And that's why I got into the emotional eating, the healing journey, because it takes a mindset healing, it takes a heart healing, and it takes a willingness to look in the mirror and say, I need to change. I'm not who I need to be, and I'm better than what I see in the mirror. And that's what I had to do.
I love that. And I love what you said. You brought it, it required a mindset change and a heart set change. And that's what I work with when it comes to dealing with many of my clients, because they come, they want to lose weight. And the first thing we have to do is to help them to understand not just why they want to lose weight, but also we have to understand how are they going to benefit. They want to really kind of lock that in. That's part of the conceive and commit part of the CR.U.S.H method. You know, that said, tell us a little bit about the technique, if you will, of mentally fit and free emotional eating journal. How can one use that as a tool to lose weight and to break free of the shackles of emotional eating?
Okay, so change this up. This journal right here, it starts with, you have to define what kind of eater you are. You need to know who you are. And that's what the beginning of this journey does. It identifies you as what eater. Because if you don't know what type of eater you are, you're going to continue to eat the way you're eating. And a lot of people, they literally don't know what type they are, whether you're a stress eater, a boredom eater, a rewards eater, and I was talking about that, how our kids have become reward eaters because of how we program them. So those are a comfort eater, whatever type of eater you are, this book will identify what type of eater you are, and then it goes into the place of empowerment and asking the hard questions of why are you eating? When you first get out of bed, what's the first thing you think about? And you have to journal that thing. You have to journal what's the first thing you think about. And you also have to ask yourself, what food would you relate to your feelings? If you look at your feelings, what food do you relate to those feelings? How are you feeling right now? And what food are you eating?
That's amazing. I love it when you're taking them step by step, but that way, thinking things through. You see what I'm saying? Even me myself, I do still think about what I'm going to have for dinner. But seeing that I like to cook, I always know that it's going to be a healthy meal. Number one. Number two, it's not going to be a meal that I buy. Number three, especially in light of the commercial that's been going around these days, it's not going to be cereal. Okay, so
I haven't seen the commercial, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just say there's a certain very famous cartoon feline accompanied by a very famous cartoon tropical bird that bursts in a family's room, home, around the dinner table, and the feline says, "When I say cereal, you say dinner," or and they do this thing back with the family saying, he says cereal, they say dinner, and then a feeble voice from the kitchen says chicken, and then the mother, who is supposed to be the responsible one for the nutrition and the health and well-being, looks and says, "Oh, you can have a night off, chicken," and then she looks in the camera like that.
Oh, wow.
And what is that? See, the whole message there is that, hey, this is just as good and healthy for you. This sugar-laden, all right, GMO ingredient stuff that is already known to cause obesity when overeaten, when it's already known to cause type 2 diabetes. When you look at how things have happened with the food chain or the food pyramid and how it was originally designed, and look at that and look at the way it's the state of the world today, you can see a direct correlation between the overconsumptions of grains, all of that. And here, this mom is saying, you can have a night off, protein, healthy protein. No, we're going to go with this stuff because it's good for us. And then the person who is the CEO of the company, okay, and I found that rather a little offensive, because he said, well, this is good for those who are impoverished, those who are of low income. Okay, you see, and so this is a healthy alternative. All right. So tell us this: do you include some recipes in your book by any chance?
No recipes.
I'm going to throw
If
you
you
some.
want
This
recipes,
second
I
edition,
have
I'm going to
recipes.
give you some recipes for your second edition.
Yep, second edition. We're gonna put some recipes in there because I have been collecting recipes. And my transition has been from this to vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for about 5 years. So I can go in between being meat eater. I don't discriminate. My whole family eat meat, so I have to cook meat. So I if that's your choice, then that's what you do. My choice have been to cut the meat out of my diet. And a little keto here, but my my palate is different, and the way I go about eating right now in this journey that I'm on now is a little different. It's different. It's not gonna say it's hard, but it's it takes a different type of mindset to do what I do now. So yes, second edition, there will be recipes in the second edition of this book.
Well, that's amazing. That's great. You see, so that's that was the thing. Now, when it comes to weight loss or reducing and even reversing type 2 diabetes, it's not just a matter of eating right, okay, but it really involves an entire lifestyle shift and change, replacing some unhealthy habits with healthy habits. Tell us, are there things and practices that you've adopted that the average individual, Johnny or Jane on the street would normally do?
I've adopted intermittent fasting. I usually do I would go about 16 to 22 hours with no food. It depends on the day. Mostly I do OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. Sometimes I do 2 meals. It depends on the day, but my days are different. And I also do fasting. I do water fasting. Like as of right now, I'm on a water fast. I do 5 days water fast, 2 days eating. One day in that 2 days, I eat fruit all day. And that other day, one of my meals is maybe a salad with some with like today with some kidney beans in it, a little guacamole, a little salsa, a little nice healthy meal. And my dinner would be fruit, and it'll take me back into my fasting, my water fast for another week. And that takes a different mindset. It's not an easy thing to do because we are conditioned to eat. Our body is conditioned. When I wake up in the morning, what's for breakfast? It's noontime. What's for lunch? Okay, mama, what's for dinner? That's our routine. Our life sits around when you wake up. What am I going to eat today? What am I going to eat for lunch? What am I cooking tonight? That's a mindset that we truly have. Our mindset is always ahead of what am I going to cook. So when I started the water fast, it hit me was I don't have to worry about what I'm cooking. I don't have to worry about what I'm eating. All I'm doing is drinking water. I put a little lime in the water. I put a little lemon in the water, maybe some cucumbers in the water, and I'm good for a whole week. And it's not a thought. Now, I got a 12-year-old son, so this water fast is not for him. I still have to cook for him, but I have a mindset of when I cook, that I don't deprive him. I'm a mom of I'm gonna let this be your choice lifestyle. If you want to do this, then I want you to do this on your own time and when you are ready, if you ever get ready. But as for me, this is my journey. And I actually enjoy the journey. It's different. It's different techniques that I use, the castor oil packs, and I do the bitters, which I do sour. I do the sea moss. I have incorporated different things in my journey to help with the cleansing, to help with the gut health. What I'm trying to get away from is the pill form of things. To always have to take some type of pill to kind of keep me cleansed, keep me going, and to go more into a natural state.
You're doing well, it's because you have the fiber going. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing that's really helping you there. The more fiber that you're taking into your system, the more water that you're drinking, that's going to do the cleanse. The important thing, though, is that with a water fast, you're adding the lemon juice, that's good. You might add the cucumber, but at some given time, you might want to look into having some sort of potassium, you see, that you want to add to that as well. Your potassium, your magnesium, the things that are your electrolytes that are going to keep your body flowing. Because you see, we run the body.
Electrolyte pills. I do have that. I have electrolyte pills.
Okay. And so there are things that you can do. That's the idea. Now, we talked about your electrolytes, so that's electricity or energy. So now we're talking a little bit more about how we manage and build and maintain our energies. What exercises can we do? Have you tried any sort of movement exercises? Do you do weight resistance, things like that? Talk to us about that.
Well, right now, I don't know. At this older age that I'm in, I'm beginning to this person who don't
You're
dance.
23 years old. What do you mean older
Oh,
age?
oh man. At this age that I'm in, I'm a little going up the hill a little bit. Um,
Uh, all right, I'm going to have to tell you
were you
something right now.
okay?
Tell you something right now. I normally do. This is a first for Crusher Mountain folks. Okay, Henry Gaston is about to declare his actual chronological age. Chronological age. As of a couple of days ago, I hit the big 60.
Wow.
I am still doing 100 push-ups every morning.
Wow.
I'm still using 60 pounds to squat with every morning. I'm still doing
Wow.
the things that I need to do. And I have a gentleman. You can check out two of my episodes from days gone by, where I have John Hobbs, the Silver Fox, at 74 years old. He's a champion bodybuilder. Then there's Jean Laguerre. He's a homeboy from Laurelton, Queens, and he is a 23-time Mr. Natural bodybuilding champion. And guess what? He's 62, 63 years old. Okay, you're a spring chicken.
Well, at 46, I'm not afraid to tell my age. A lot of women don't want to, but at the age of 46, sometimes our body doesn't work like, especially when you've been overweight for a lot of times. For me, I do have knee issues sometimes. And I found for me, I got a rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
So I do exercise on a rebounder. I walk, and I just started to like dance. I don't know. I just got a feel of dancing lately. So I have I might do some. It's a lady that I follow. I don't have beat, rhythm, none of that stuff. She does line dancing. So I would go on while she's doing line dancing, and I do some line dancing with her. And I told her, I was like, look, I can't dance. She said, just do what you can do, just move. And that's what I found, that as I'm on this journey, my energy is different,
Mm-hmm.
and I began to like different things to do. So I incorporate that. I don't care if I can't dance. I don't care if I have rhythm. If I love it, I love it, and I'm gonna do it. Okay. So I just pick up little things, some resistant bands, and I use the resistant band. I have an elliptical. If I want to get on the elliptical, I get on the elliptical or a treadmill. So I keep it different. I don't like doing things over the same thing all the time. So I keep my exercise different. I do different things so it doesn't make me bored with working out.
That's the secret, to do things, and mix it up when you can. You see, that way, number one, it makes it fresh. Number two, you're targeting your muscles differently so that you have the full range of function. You see what I'm saying? That's the most important thing you can do for your body. So that's a great thing. Then there are certain things that are settling for the mental and emotional part of things. And that's where, and that too has some biological effects, some physiological effects, such as grounding. You and I talked a little bit about grounding before, and I've mentioned that to other people, and people go, grounding? What do you mean grounding? You want to take a piece of electricity, a piece of wire, and just stick it in a tree or something? And we have to explain that to them. So now that you're here and we have talked about it, you tell us a little bit about grounding and how you incorporate that into your personal practice for health.
Well, for me, grounding is just me being with nature. Um, it's feeling the grass up under my feet, and it does something to me. It gives me this peace. It is more of a joy, and I just walk around, and that's my meditation time. Where I spend time with my God and with myself, and I do what I need to do, whether it's thinking about life, where I've been, where I'm going. I most of the time think forward, very rarely do I think back? I'm always forward thinking because I don't want to go back. And so as a mental health coach, I always forward look. And as I'm out there grounded, it centers me. It centers me of, you are here and now. So what is your here and now? Where you see yourself going? What are you doing? It's a stillness of, don't think about everything you have to do. Don't think about the world. Just think about you. Who are you? Where are you going? What do you want to do? What does your life look like? Where do you want your life to look like? And for me, that's my meditation part, where I can be one and I can dream as big as I want to. It is like this grass is like, I hear you. I hear you. You stepping on your newness, right? And that's how I feel.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, here's the thing though, there are some beautiful reasons for these experiences as well. Because if you have your bare feet on the ground, now the idea is this. I mentioned before that we are electrical beings. We have electrons coming through us, but those electrons have to find ground. When we have our Adidas and Converse All Stars and all these other rubber-soled things on our feet. And I'm not telling everybody to walk around barefoot wherever you go. Trust me, some places you do not want to do that, okay? But if you're out in nature and you're taking your shoes off and you have your feet on the ground, it is a wonderful experience because what's happening now is now those electrons are reaching the connection with the earth. And you will find a different sense of peace, and you'll be able to meditate and focus better. It's such a wonderful experience, and when you're doing that and you incorporate that with some breath work. I don't know if you do breath work.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
you do your deep breathing.
That deep breathing and then some movement to kind of touch those energies that are there all around us. The way the universe is created, it's created from the smallest particle of energy right to us, right to the planet, right to the galaxy, right to the universe. You see, and the old saying in the ideas of quantum mechanics, quantum gravity, quantum physics is that everything is energy. There are particles that flow through us and bind the universe together. If you're a Star Wars fan, and so when we do that, we're actually tapping into that as well. And how wonderful it is that you are able to pick up on that and get that sense of awareness for yourself.
And it's not only that, it's the nature, listening to the birds, paying attention to the birds and how they chirp. And you can hear the different types of birds and pay attention to the squirrels and the butterfly and just nature. You get a different sense of nature when you begin to do stuff like this.
Yes, indeed. And so it's just a wonderful experience. And what you just mentioned brings me to something else that is referred to, the idea of the forest bathing, because when you're now in touch like that, you're paying attention to those subtle things. You're immersing yourself in the environment. And the Japanese have a practice called Shinrin-yoku, the idea of forest bathing or immersing yourself in the environment of the forest, you see. And when we're doing that, there's so many health benefits because, like you said, you're noticing that. I was in the forest a few days ago, and I was down by, there's this little lake there. And what was so wonderful, I heard this warbling sound. It was an interesting bird. It was a bird sound for sure. But the type of bird it was surprised me. I saw this beautiful sweeping wings, and when it turned, I got a glimpse of the head, that unmistakable, distinguished head of an American bald eagle. And it was just a wonderful thing to see. As it swooped, it caught its food, and it brought it back to its nest for the fledglings. And taking the time to just look at the simple things, even the symmetry of the bark growing on a tree, just those simple things. It brings you in that deep connection with the surroundings, the creator, and the creation, you know, and then it's a gratitude. There's so many things that we are going to talk about. I wanted to touch a little bit on some of the experiences of your clients who dealt with familial background challenges, or perhaps even dealing with narcissistic relationships. And I just wanted to touch briefly on that, and so that, and ask if that many times leads to emotional eating at times. Could you touch on that a little bit?
It does. When we talk about the narcissistic relationship, we're talking about somebody that's being controlled and being their life is like no longer theirs. So they can turn to food because food is a comfort to them. When you got somebody that's controlling you or talking to you or abusing you, they talk back. But when you're eating, what will food do to you? First of all, food is not going to talk back to you. So you can eat as much of it as you can. It is not going to say one word to you. And that becomes a comfort to them. I can have this. I can have this ice cream. I can have this cake. I can eat these cookies. It's going to satisfy me. And it's not going to talk back to me. And that's one thing when it comes to that mental part, they find comfort just in the fact of I can have this, it's all mine. Nobody can take it away from me. Nobody can say anything to me. And it's not going, they have a feeling of it's not going to abuse me, but it's truly abusing who they are in a different way.
Can that spill over into anorexia or bulimia?
It can. Especially if you have whether it's a spouse or mother, father, whoever that person is, that doesn't want you to be overweight. So you're eating this food and somehow you got to get this off of you. I done had all of this, I ate this, and if they know I ate this, then something's gonna happen. So I need to let this food go. So what's gonna happen? You're gonna find a way to expel this food out your body, whether it's through mouth or you taking some kind of form of coming out another way.
That's scary. And I've known so many individuals that have dealt with that sort of thing. So have you worked with the persons on that spectrum, or have you worked with primarily those who are on the other overeating disorder and obesity? Talk to us a little bit.
Primarily overeating and obesity. I would hear about the cases of that, but I haven't worked with it on that end. Mine is mostly obesity. And a lot of it is obesity because of that. They eat their feelings. They're eating away because they can't talk to anybody. So they're going to eat their feelings away.
How do we teach someone to love themselves enough, or love themselves in the right way, so that they take care of their bodies, and then again, by extending, take care of their health and their life?
That's knowing who you are, knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are appreciated, and knowing that somebody cares about you, and somebody like me cares enough about you to invest in me to make sure you are okay, that you have the tools that you need, that you can journal yourself when you feel the need to eat, journal it. When you have that desire, that strong desire, ask yourself, why? Why do I want to eat? What is this going to do to me and for me? And when you start getting those things in your mind when it comes to eating, before you eat, you asking yourself, what is this going to do for me? Is it going to nourish my body, or am I putting toxins in my body? When you start looking at things in that direction, it's going to change your mindset of how you eat, because you're going to be like, Nah, I don't think I want to do that. I'm not dying this way. I don't think I can say that word. I'm not gonna leave the earth this way.
I'm not going out like that. Right? Right.
Right.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's just a joy to talk with you, and we can geek out on a whole bunch of stuff all day long, really. But I'll
Yes.
tell you, Anita, I really value your insights. Your your brilliance comes through in so many ways. And okay, and have you started on that second edition yet? Where can we get the current edition?
The current edition is on Amazon. You can find it at, hopefully you can see it,
Yeah, bring it up
Mentally
just a little
Fit.
more. Bring it up just a little more. Yeah, okay.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Mentally Fit and Free Emotional, your escape route to emotional freedom. So this is on Amazon, or you can get it at my bookstore. My bookstore is payhip.com/ A Voice of Healing.
Okay, we'll just make sure we leave the links in the chat below or in the comments section below. But I've got one more question to ask you. It's amazing to have you. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You are absolutely glowing as well as global. So it's great to have you with us. I've got one more question I ask all my guests. And so I'm curious to hear your insights on this one. So Anita McDaniel, the unmute queen and the life strategist, what does it mean to you to crush your mountain?
To crush my mountain means I'm a beast at whatever I do. And to believe that inside of me, I'm going to keep going at it and I'm going to keep moving. I ain't going to crush it. I'm going to just move it, throw it out the way. How about that? It's going to be moved. We're going to take that mountain, pull it up, because what I'm going after, I got the strength to do it. I know within myself what I am, who I am. And when I know that anything that's put in front of me, it means I have the capability of crushing that mountain.
That is amazing. I did say she was an amazing person, didn't I? Right at the outset. And that's the point, though, you see, because all of us are dealing with various obstacles. All of us are dealing with various challenges. All of us are going to have the setbacks when we just have to step back, you see, and then go at it again. The idea is this: whenever we grab that pickaxe, so to speak, whenever we grab that sledgehammer, so to speak, and we start chipping away at that mountain, there may be some rock slides, there may be a cave in, but the idea is to keep on going, to keep on chopping, to keep on hitting at it and moving things forward. And that's what it is with Anita. I'm grateful to have you with us because you show us that many of us can take the time to do it. I implore anyone who has a challenge with emotional eating, who is dealing with obesity, if I am not there to help you with the CRUSH method, okay, a young woman like Anita certainly can do the job. So we'll leave information for her. Please look her up and reach out. And in the meantime, friends, again, we got so many things happening. We're going to be making some changes. We're building a new studio, and I'm going to be excited to come on with that. And hopefully towards the end of the year, we'll have our forest bathing event. And I think Anita is definitely invited because she's not too far from the city of Oaks, as well as others. And what the idea is to really immerse ourselves in the forest, to be involved in terms of grounding and just enjoying the effects of creation. We'll have a little bit of gentle movement so as to regulate our energies. It's going to be great. Okay, it's not. We don't expect a Tony Robbins big speech to motivate people. This is more of imparting the information, going through the walking meditation, involving ourselves with grounding, and then taking the time to move and feel our energies flow in a different way. Maybe you can get your body to tingle a little bit. If we can do that, that'll be great. In the meantime, friends, as I always say, it's always great to have someone like Anita with us. And it's more important that we take advantage of the opportunities and persons and tools that can help us to reach our optimum health. So, as I always say at this time, don't just climb your mountain, crush through it. I will see you next time. Anita, I want to thank you so very much for being here.